Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, DIGI. Welcome to your Sunday, June 21st. Today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Wishing you a great day. And we are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to try to squeak in a flight. We are on the tarmac at Huntsville. I flew in the last stream in a Piper Dakota. Had a great time hanging out with everybody. I'm going to do a really fast stop to Fayetteville today, and hopefully we will have a good time doing so. We are in GA parking at the ramp, and the flight that we're doing is going to take us from Huntsville to Fayetteville today. And I have no departures available at Huntsville, but we are going to be going to 18 right. We are going to be going to runway 22 at Fayetteville, and there's a back course localizer for runway 22. There's also an RNAV, but I'm feeling a little bit spicy. I'm going to try to see if we can make the back course 22 approach work, and we will take it straight from, I guess we'll take it straight from Fayetteville and see what happens. Because, I mean, Fayetteville is literally on the way. So there we go. And basically, the back course looks like it's going to take us from the Fayetteville VOR to a teardrop, probably about 12 to 15 nautical miles out, and then we'll go back to Charlie Foxtrot, Bravo Bravo Sierra, Morgie, and Jonesy, and then we will be on the approach for runway 22. When we get to runway 22, the GA section is going to be above the terminal, so I don't think we're going to be going very long in this aircraft, but if we do, Foxtrot is basically going to be the last exit before we cross runway 10/28. If we exit by Foxtrot, then we can make a right turn at Alpha, a left turn at Echo, and have our choice of transient parking options, or we can go straight to the back. But is what it is, and we will go ahead and enjoy ourselves pronto. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into the plane. We've got about an hour and 15 minutes of airtime to cover. I don't want to spend too much time on the tarmac, so we'll get going ASAP. Meanwhile, let's make sure that we are prepped for the journey. Let me go ahead and plug in the GPU so we have power. And do I want chunks for now? Nah, it's all good. All right, we'll try to get through this as quickly and safely as we can. Courtesy light, I'm going to go ahead and turn on right now. Depends on where it is. Oh, it's up top. Well, you know, it would help if I turn the GPU on. There we go. Courtesy light, let's go ahead and turn that on. I'm going to turn nav lights and panel lighting all the way up, and then we can go ahead and get started. I just updated my AirAct cycle, so we should be okay for flight planning and the like, but let's get started. We have courtesy light checked. Emergency door things, we're going to go ahead and auto approve. Water barrier, same deal. Documents, manuals, and charts, we just updated our AirAct cycle. Emergency check, oxygen bottle valve. Definitely push to restore. Just pushed it. Yep, can confirm. Okay. Supply control knob. We're going to go PAX Auto. Check. And scene twice. And scene 3 times. Oh yeah, we got it done. Oxygen mask regulator, we're going to assume 100%. Electrical panel, we have, I think, good. We can't pull any of them anyway. And what else do we have? Fuel pumps. Fuel pumps need to go auto. Fuel pumps to auto. Fuel transfer is not pushed in, it is pushed out. And we're going to turn the ELT to armed and the HYD pump, hydraulic pump, to auto. There we go. We have armed the ELT. Gust and rudder gust lock. We do not have any locks on the controls, and I'm going to basically say we don't have any other locks to speak of. And just in case, we're going to make sure all of the, oh no, wait, that's that's 2024. Huh, never mind. Heating panel. Let's go ahead and, oh, I mistook that for this. I usually don't mess around with air conditioning or heating at all. It's not simulated. Pressurization mode auto, bleed both. Yep, seen. And ice protection, I'm going to do window heats, ADS AOE to auto, and no engine anti-ice at this point. Hey, Lyles, good to see you. Sorry if you said hello a little bit earlier. Welcome. We're flying to Fayetteville today. Grab a seat in the back. Plenty of room. And ice protection check. Landing gear lever is indeed down. And pressurization we just set up. Fire extinguisher. Actually, we can do those checks now if we wanted to. Annunciator lights are on. Okay, those work. Is it doing anything? Can't tell, actually. No, I think we're good. Okay, so start-stop knobs are at stop. They are not on right now. And flap lever is 0. Parking brake is set. That is what a parking brake that's set looks like. And seats and belts, condition assumed. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and start getting our flight plan set up, and we will go and get on out of here. So, again, the flight is going to be from Huntsville to Fayetteville. Huntsville, Alabama, and we're going to be taking off on runway 18 right, I believe I said. There we go, 18 right chosen, and en route, literally one waypoint. It is icons. Destination is going to be Fayetteville. Landing on runway 22. So 22 is set. And here we go. We'll do procedures. There's no departure out of Huntsville for us, and there's no arrival into Fayetteville. We are going to choose the localizer back course approach for 22. And we will come in straight from Fayetteville, which is literally over the airport. So, minimums for today's flight. Actually, you want to know what? I haven't checked what the weather is over Fayetteville. What is the weather? The weather at Fayetteville currently, winds 120 at 8. A little weird that it would choose runway 22 then. 120 at 8. Huh. Okay, well, let me take a look at the airport. Runway 10 is long enough for us to land on. If it's 120 at 8, then why are we bothering with runway 22? I mean, I'd understand if we were an airliner. But let me think. If I'm coming in from 22, then that means that the winds are going to be coming out of the southeast. So if they're coming out of the south, if they're coming out of the east-southeast, that means I'm going to have a left crosswind component, probably of about 5 to 6 knots. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. I'd almost prefer taking runway 10 anyway, just to go more with the winds. So I'm going to go ahead and make that call now. We're going to go back. We're going to actually look at the flight plan, and we're going to choose a different runway. Yeah, something about that just doesn't seem right to me. Okay, so 10 is fine. That might simplify things because I don't think we're going to have any info for the 10 approach. We are going to have an RNAV. Okay, so there we go. We can take the visual, but we're going to take the LNAV, the RNAV, excuse me, for 10. Now, if I look at that, let me go back to here. Let's remove the runway. I'm looking at my charts app. I'm sorry. Let me share that with you guys. Okay, so we just removed runway 22. Let's go ahead and pick runway 10. And runway 22 isn't even used. That's a little weird. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to 10 and let's pick the approach. Let's pick the approach. 8 approaches available. RNAV 10. We'd be coming in from icons, so we can probably just as easily do the RNAV final. And apparently it is a offset final approach. Literally one of the last waypoints. Just turn right and send it. So, okay, I guess that'll work. Cool, good enough. Good enough. All right, let's go ahead and finish that. We will take vectors, and what did it say the weather was at the airport again? I don't remember. Let me check. So winds 120 at 8. It's an automated station, but it's not giving me cloud levels. That's a little weird. Stand by. Okay, METAR. Yeah, vertical visibility is missing and weather is missing. It's an automated observation. No ceiling. What? Temporary from the 22nd to the 22nd. Okay, well, best information we can get for TAF is clouds few at 5,000. So a RNAV or visual is probably going to be good. Okay, so what are the minimums for the RNAV? The RNAV minimums are 660. That's our barometric minimums. 660, 660. Let's go. Let's go, please. Come on. Let's go. Gotta go. Okay. We're not going to activate it yet. We are just going to load it. And that's it. That should be everything that we need. Once we take off, we will immediately go direct icons and basically park it for the next, I don't know how long. So CDI can stay on GPS. We're going to RNAV this thing all the way in. And let's go ahead and do our transponder code of 2257. That's the code. We'll do altitude reporting right now because I'm lazy and just because I want to get ready as quickly as I can. That is the flight plan, actually. Not that bad, not that difficult. It's more getting set for the RNAV. It's going to be complicated than that. That should do it for us. Yaw damper on. Let's get the flight directors on, and we're going to be cruising at 39,000 feet. Iowa Scotsman. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good weekend. Really appreciate the 59 months of support. We are taking off from Huntsville. We're going to go to Fayetteville today in the Phenom. And we're going to go and try to take off as quickly as we can. Now, the magnetic deviation for the runway 18 right is 185. So we will bug this up right now. And then we will get going. How about that? So 185, and we have our flight plan. We have magnetic deviation. We're using GPS pretty much all the way there. And oh yeah, altitude select. We need to get ourselves up to 39,000 feet. It seems like a stretch actually, but whatever. 38,000, 39,000. Odd altitudes for eastbound flights, evens for westbound flights. And that's it. We'll do flight level change on the way up, and then basically that should take care of us, actually. All right. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's our flight plan. That's our initial climb. That's our magnetic deviation, 185. And let's go ahead and set up the deal here as well. Spiromins, again, 660 feet. That means 660 feet measured. We'll need to make sure we're configured for landing, and hopefully that is the case. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out what's up at this point. Okay, before start, we're going to be winds, aircraft orientation, check within start limits. Let me check the weather for Huntsville. Huntsville weather. Weather is winds variable at 6 knots. I don't even know what the crosswind max on this plane is, but it's probably more than 6 knots. Clouds fuel 1,200. So we're going to be fine. When we taxi, we're going to be taxiing down Foxtrot 3 to Juliet. Right turn on Whiskey to Whiskey 1. And gear pins, steering link, gear pins assumingly have been removed, and I'm not going to need a pushback. We're going to do flight log lights. Lights as required. The nav lights on. We're going to turn the cabin lighting off. And we will double check ourselves here. Seatbelt signs on, pumps are on. And let me just do a checklist, pre-checklist deal, and just make sure I catch up to myself. That's on, that's auto. Both of these are auto. That's on, that's auto. Both of these are auto confirmed. We are idle throttle, flaps 0. And now I can turn the generators on. Batteries on.
Stall. 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 Stall.
And that's probably why.
Fire. Fire.
Okay. Now I know for future reference, if I am going to actually do stall and fire tests, I need to make sure the batteries are on. They weren't on before, I was just using the GPU. And also, bus tie to auto is a good thing, I think. So, gens are on auto, batteries are on, bus tie is auto, GPU is currently in use. I'm not going to need that much anymore, so we can go ahead and put that away. Let's do so. Okay, now I'm on the timer. So, engine ignition is auto, thrust levers are idle, batteries are on, GPU is required. Parking brake chocks should not be on at this point, and they're not. I have nothing. And circuit breakers have been checked already, nav databases are current. CVR I'm going to bypass, same thing with the oxygen. Fuel quantity and balance, that's a very good idea to check. We are going to need how many pounds of fuel? We need 1,883 pounds of block fuel, which we don't have. So we need to get that. 1,883 pounds An extra 100 is not going to help. Not going to worry. Even an extra 75 is fine. And payload for today's flight, we're supposed to be taking a payload of 1,150 pounds. There we go. A little bit extra, we're good. Now we have the numbers. So that's fine. This is why we go through checklists. This is great. Okay, we tested the panels. Altimeters are currently 299er, and that checks with the weather currently at Huntsville. So we're good. Flight plan is set, and takeoff LFE. We'll check cabin pressurization after we take off. And weather radar is good-ish. Weights have been entered. Takeoff speeds, we will just suss that out ourselves. And flight director is on. We already have the yaw damper as well. And that's it. Taxi takeoff briefing, we already did talk about the taxi pattern. We're going to go Foxtrot 3 Juliet, Whiskey to Whiskey 1. In the takeoff runway 18 right. Okay, quick check. Doors look closed to me. All doors look closed. We're good. And battery voltage, we are currently at 25.0. I don't want to go much below 24.8, so we're going to start pretty soon. IFE is off, or at least I'm assuming it is. No in-flight entertainment at this point. And signs have been put on for seatbelts and air conditioning auto, don't care. ADS AOA, we have that auto, same thing with the hydraulic pump. And that should be it. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Okay. Clear left and right. And visual confirmation. So let's get going. All right, starting number 2. There we are. Roll back. On the temperatures, at least. Okay, so we are 22%. And we just clicked in, and that rolled back as well. Let's do engine number 1. There we go. Engine number 1 is firing. Roll back on temps. Just kicked on with the N1, so we're good. I like what I see. I like it a lot. Okay, so quick blip. Okay, the throttle is responding. We are okay. Let's go ahead and do a quick flight controls check, and we will get on out of here. All right. Full left, full right, both sides responsive. Let me just pull it back a bit. Full forward, full back. Again, full left, full right, full forward, and back. And do a quick check. Rudder pedals are responsive. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. We have a responsive aircraft. All right. After start checklist, please. We have engine instruments. They're responsive, that's for sure. GPU has definitely been disconnected. We can't choose or select the ELEC emergency toggle. And we just check the flight controls. Trims, I'm going to go ahead and set for probably like 6 and just adjust as needed. Flaps, I'm going to do flaps 1. And ice protection, not required. And blockout time is going to be 18:54. We have about an hour, 45 minutes. Hopefully it does not take that long. And let's get a move on. Fair warning, I might sneak in a little bit of time acceleration just to make sure I make Fayetteville, like once we hit cruise, maybe for like 5-10 minutes or something like that. But I don't plan on doing time acceleration all the way there. Just want to make sure I make the flight. Otherwise, did we check everything? I think so. Before takeoff, I want to double check things like brakes, takeoff configuration, flight instruments, and CAS messages, like for example, the fact that the parking brake's on. But that's it. All right, do a quick external sound check. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. Take a quick glance around here. We're gonna go and start taxiing because I need to go ahead and go, I think, like one taxi lane over. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's fine. Steady as she goes. Give me taxi lights, and that's it. That should be all I need. Parking brake release. Let's go. Okay, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go and try to get ourselves over to Fayetteville at a reasonably expeditious velocity. We do have some cloudy McCloudersons in the vicinity, but I don't think we're going to be dealing with weather, at least not until after we get above the cloud tops. Looks like some rain in the vicinity, but hopefully nothing too nasty. We're not too shabby. This is a freeware version of Huntsville. We're going to be flying to a freeware version of Fayetteville as well, and both should be available on flightsim.to. Before we line up, I'm going to do some checks to see if we can get some virtual traffic, because I think the only thing I have on right now is multiplayer. Let's go ahead and check. Nobody's coming either way, except for a pushback truck, which we will go to the right of. Go past the terminal. Tell you what, while we are cruising, I'm going to go ahead and activate FSLTL. Okay, I think I updated FSLTL a little while ago. I don't know if we're going to get not ATC. I don't know if we're going to get traffic, but we'll try. Oh, excuse me. A little bit of off-road for you guys. We're good. Okay, now we are getting some traffic injection. I'll see whether or not we actually see anything, but I think we actually have to be above ground level for that. Okay, that's it. There goes the terminal. That's right. I forgot. For some reason, the rudders always like to, go in one direction. Okay, so now we've gone from Foxtrot 3 to Juliet, I believe. Now we're on Whiskey, and we're going to be going to Whiskey 1. And hopefully we will see some traffic, and I will see some traffic hits on this. Okay, so since we're going to be going to the runway, I'm just going to go ahead and put the taxi lights to runway right now, turn the strobes on, and just forget about it for a little while. Sit up a little bit more in the chair, and that's it. We've got our initial climb set, and we're going to be using flight level change speed to get up to a reasonable climb right in a jiffy. Supposedly, I think 170 knots is all it takes to get up to cruise in about 20 minutes, I think. Okay, we'll do a ridiculously brief run-up before we depart on 18 right. Excuse me. All right. Parking brake on just to do our run-up. And what is it? It's before takeoff again. We have brakes. Brakes are working. Takeoff configuration. We have flaps 1 and flight instruments and CAS messages, just the parking brake that's on, and our instruments do appear to be working. And we still have enough fuel to get out of here. The minimum fuel for anybody that's actually interested to get out of here would have been 1,783 pounds. We've got that, and we've got that covered. Now, a quick cheat using the old flight map. We do have somebody coming in, but they're not even past the local airport or DME, excuse me, NDB. So we should be fine. All right, let's go ahead, release parking brake, and get on out of here. Nope, no traffic in sight. Yeah. No departures out of Huntsville, at least not on 18 right, so we're just going to go ahead, take off, and send it. We are stable at about 45% N1. Let's go ahead and hit toga. Max. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. Say about 130-ish, 140-ish is good for rotation. Gentle. Beautiful. Positive climb. Gear up. Start making that left turn now. Some traffic in the area, but not in my flight path, so not a factor. Let's go flap 0. Alright, let's level off. Okay, flaps are up. Let's go autopilot. Flight level change at 170 knots. And peel off of max just to take off. We were on max throttle to 10, now we're on takeoff mode. And we have locked the flight level change velocity at 170 knots. And I did not turn this on, so I'm probably about maybe 2 or 3 minutes behind. said 1854 when we pushed back, or excuse me, we weren't ready to actually leave. Okay. Yeah, no traffic. Excuse me, no traffic in our flight path, so we're good. And how we doing? Yeah, different airport. But do I see any traffic? No, I do not. Oh, above. Nice. Missed that. Climbing at about 2,600 feet per minute. That's not bad. So in the next half hour, we'll hit cruise. Okay, so top of drop is going to be something like 70-ish knots, 70-ish nautical miles away. I don't know. Let me double check the flight plan. Where are we? Okay. If we are going to be flying in to the RNAV, we're at 39,000 feet. If we're going to be coming in direct to runway 10, we're not going to be doing any kind of teardrop approach. We're basically going straight in. It's just an offset approach. And the final waypoint is going to be at probably somewhere below 500 feet. So we want to be 2,100 feet at Zipmo, and then we have about maybe a little bit less than 5 nautical miles before we actually turn to the final approach. So by Zipmo, we need to be at 2,100 feet, which means we need to lose basically a little over 36,000, which means by the time we get to Icons, we're gonna want to be going down already. So Icons is just below Charlotte, and I'm assuming by the time I start seeing like Chester, I'm gonna start descending. I mean, we're tiny enough that we can theoretically choose to just excuse me, what's the phrase? We can slow ourselves down significantly if we have to. Went a bit past the magenta line. I thought the nav had kicked in. It didn't. Where are we going? We're going to Icons. Okay. So this should go from GPS heading to just GPS mode. Gotta double check that in future. Alright, so we're established after takeoff. Landing gear is up. Flaps, 0. Signs as required. IFE lights. Lights are still... Actually, we crossed 10,000 feet, so we can turn those off. And what else are we missing? Thrust lever set for the climb. Yaw damper on, pressurization. How are we pressurizing? We are at about 17,000 feet and we have about 3,800 feet on the cabin altitude. This is good. This is good. Climb transition, which is going to be soon. We're going to set the altimeters to standard. And window heating is on for the transition, so we're fine. Yep, seen twice. That's it. And flight level 180 transition, check. We are now standard. Now, when we descend, we're going to want to make sure window heats are still on, check pressurization, verify icing conditions, and talk about landing speeds. We're probably going to try to be somewhere between the 130 to 140 knot mark for landing. But actually, if we're going to land on runway 10, we're going to want to be as slow as we can. Yeah. Let's turn it a little bit more. Yeah, we got a lot of volume on those engines. I think I'm going to pull the volume back a bit. I think that should be fine. Like, about there. That should be all we need. Let me know if the volume is too quiet or too loud in either sense, either the mic or the volume. I'll try to adjust it. I think as long as the bars for my desktop audio stay in the green and don't go into the yellow, I should be okay. My microphone's going to talk over that anyway. But there we have it. And now we've gone totally green, GPS. We're tracking the magenta line all the way to icons. And we have, how much further do we have? 256 and change. Winds are tailwind complement, basically 19 knots to the tail. We're good. And we're above the clouds. Way above the clouds. Wow. Let's see what this bird looks like from the outside again. Nice. All right, so thanks everybody for joining me today. This is going to be a real quick hop into Fayetteville. Given that we are in climb mode right now and there's not that much going on and there's not anything in front of me for traffic, I'm going to go ahead and 2x time boost till we get to cruise. And then once we get to cruise, I will go back to 1x mode. That should chop off like maybe 10, 15 minutes. I just want to make sure I finish the flight and get ready for family time later reliably. Don't want to, be rushing to land and taxi and then, okay, gotta go, bye. I tried. Did get some time with the family yesterday. We got together and went out to eat, had some wonderful Brazilian steakhouse food, and then took a nice drive. Went to go get some snacks, and then came home. Hopefully everyone's Sunday is good. I am striving to enjoy myself now, spend time with the fam, and then get ready for this coming week. Also, at some point in the near future, get the HVAC replaced because, as I mentioned, if you guys caught me online or in my Discord, I unfortunately lost my HVAC unit this past week, and yeah, it was unfixable. To put it to another way, the amount of effort and the amount of money it probably would have taken to fix the unit, regardless of whether it was a good idea to do so, would probably have been cost prohibitive, to say nothing of most likely impossible. So it is what it is. It's done now, and basically we are just in a spot where we need to be. So I do have a window AC unit installed, keeping the place as cool as it can. And then we will, once we get to the point where we actually have everything replaced, it'll come out, and then we'll be back to HVAC powered air, which I'm really grateful to have a window AC unit. And once I get central air back, I'm going to be extremely grateful to have that working again. It's one of those things, kind of like in life, where you're like, when something like that happens, it's something that you do not recognize the significance of until you get to that point. You're like, oh wow. I'm certainly grateful for what I have, or what I will have come replacement day. But them's the breaks. Hopefully some of you guys got a chance to go to Flight Sim Expo last weekend. It wasn't this one, it was last one. I did not, but I've heard that the next expo is going to be in Vegas again. I would very much like to go this time, and we will see what the scenario, what the basis for the trip is going to be like. I'm not talking about FSA. I'm talking about just Mrs. DIGI and I, in terms of health and financial ability to go. I'm doing my best to do my best at work and maybe do a few different things. It would be great to be in a position where we could go more reliably, and this is Vegas, so it's not going to be inexpensive. It would have been great to have gone last year, because I'm assuming the trip in and of itself would probably have been less expensive than what next year is going to bring. But I hope to be in a place where the financials are going to be less of a concern. I also hope to be doing a little bit more in terms of flight sim, or at least getting to hang out with some people and asking some questions. I'm also slowly getting back into scenery development, and I'm not sure what the landscape's going to look like in terms of how many projects I get to work on. Right now, this is more about me stabilizing as the Lord allows me, because this past year has been, it still had its share of like rocky moments, but Yahweh is good. Yeah. Actually, had a conversation with one of my friends online on his channel when he was streaming yesterday. Nathan, if you're here, hello. Let's see. Hang on for me for a moment. 300 off to the side. Okay. Gonna wave hello to a plane as it passes by, I think. There we go. Nice. we are a cruise. Let's go ahead and go back to normal speed. I think it's fine. Yeah, we're fine now. Okay, seatbelt signs off. We're chill. What was I talking about? I think I remember now. Nathan, if you're here, hello. I was having a conversation with my buddy Nathan yesterday about flight simming and scenery dev and flying and stuff like that and streaming. That's what it was. We talked about it because Nathan is doing some aviation related stuff, educating and basically shepherding some new recruits into an aviation career. And the thing is, the topic of me wanting to fly and getting a private pilot's license was discussed, which I still would like to do very much. And the basic issue is essentially if I want to get a private pilot's license to go fly, plane by myself, it is something that I would like to do at some point in the near future, but it's not something that I'd want to do and just do once every other month or a couple times a year. This kind of feeds into, the things that I'm trying to do. I think I really would like to get a private pilot's license to be able to enjoy going somewhere and not worrying about, how long it's going to take me to get there by car. But I'm not naive. I know that it's going to take like a buku amount of cash. Probably in terms of 2026 dollars, somewhere between 8 to 12 grand. And I don't think that's illogical. I think that's actually quite within in the realm of reality. So obviously, if you're going to spend that much on getting a private pilot's license, you want to do it right. And I really would like to do it right. So if it ever came to the point where, Mrs. DIGI and I talked and said, hey, I want to go for my pilot's license, and she said, hey, what are you thinking about doing? I would say I'm going to spend the next year saving about, let's just pretend. I would say I would spend a year setting aside like about 10 grand, 10 or 12 grand, and researching. And then basically, once you get to the point where it's just like, oh, okay, like I have the money and I know where I'm going, I would basically set up a block of time and drill in. No weekend streaming, like maybe a catch-up stream every once in a while during the week or whatever the discipline level would be. It would basically be different than what I'm even doing now. Like my streaming would suffer because I would basically be like, take care of my obligations to the Lord, take care of the obligations to my family and my work, and then in the space that I would normally do things like, go chill, go relax, I would cut into that time and be like, okay, let's train, let's go, let's do ground school, let's do blah 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 blah, and then get after the license thing and figure out at what point it would be necessary to double down and be like, hey, we got to do this. So Point of the whole thing is, if I'm going to go for a pilot's license, I'm going to have the money, I'm going to have the time blocked out, and I'm going to have the focus dialed in. And then once you, of course, have the license and the ability to fly an aircraft, then things are different. You can you can go to an FBO, you can go fraction on, like, say a Cessna or a Mooney, or, like, Warrior or something, and then go fly. Um, would I want to go beyond just a private pilot's license? Yes, but at the same time, I think it depends on the expenditure required. Do I want a night rating? Do I want a IFR rating? Do I want a multi-engine rating? You know, sure, I'll take more horsepower in my car, but at the same time, is it feasible? Like, I'm redacted years old. I was born in redacted, redacted, redacted. So basically, at this phase, the question starts to become not can you do it, or can you motivate yourself enough to do it? The question becomes, what is the most cost-effective phase for me right now? Is it going for all the things? I'm gonna 2x till we get to icons, and then when we get under 7 is what I need to do. Get all the certifications when I have it, or could I be satisfied enough to have a private pilot's license and do and use it like a light sport license, so that I could enjoy small planes, short distances, fly VFR, and not mess with the weather, and just enjoy what I had at that point. Kind of like the PC-12 to turbine jet engine argument. Like, I mean, turboprops and stuff. I'm not going to get into the weeds about whether or not a turboprop is a true turbine. No, I don't care about that. I'm just saying, a prop versus, like, a twin engine jet plane, or even a Vision jet. Would I be able to even afford getting certified to fly one, regardless of whether or not I ever own one? I don't know if the same thing can be said for me, wanting to get all the certs versus saying, oh, well, like, you could blah 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 blah, you could get all your ratings and then be good. Like, at what point does reality kind of have to cut in and say, hey, dude, it's great that you want to get all your licensing done and fly planes for yourself and your family, but is that correct? Is that something that the Lord would want you to pursue or to do? And I'm not saying that he's somebody that just says, no, like, you have to be stoic. No, you don't. You don't. It would concern me. There we go. It would concern me if I was focused more on flying than on taking care of my family. And and all of you guys that are either dads or husbands, you know the difference. You know the difference between, like, basically being at a point in your life where you almost have to be told to take care of yourself, versus you being so far in the weeds of getting yourself tools, getting yourself toys, getting yourself flying or driving, or dancing lessons, whatever, and you get to a point where people are like, hey, are you gonna take care of your family or what? That's the line that I walk, and I want to make sure I'm respectful and I do what I need to do to take care of those people around me that matter. Like, I don't care if I ever own a Porsche. I don't care if I ever live in a multi-million dollar house. I wouldn't mind it, but that's not a goal. Like that's not like an urgent goal for me. Doing my best, taking care of the people around me, and making sure that I follow through on my obligations. Those are things that establish me. Establish me as a man, establish me as a writer, establish me as a follower of Christ. Because if I can't take care of my own family, I am not setting a good example. And this thing called the pilot's license, that's optional. And I can shoot for the stars and I can get it, or I can never get it. My identity is wrapped up in God through Christ. It's not wrapped up in a piece of paper that means that I can hop into a plane at some point and go flying in the air and go fly somewhere else. Personally, I would like to, at one point, accomplish the big, hairy, audacious goal of pilot's license, night instrument, multi-engine, type ratings on a business jet so that I can fly my family around in something that would take them. Or charter suitable aircraft that have well-established safety ratings and basically people that take care of it. So, we'll see. I want to put that in the Lord's hands and say, you can do what you want. Like, I want to worship and serve my God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and not be focused on that. Does that mean I won't throw the occasional temper tantrum and be like, but I want this, man? I did it a couple days ago. I did that yesterday. Like, I bummed out because things weren't going my way. It's the Lord is just, and He's merciful, and He's forgiving, and I'm still a toddler sometimes, but His love for me is there. Now, if some of you are listening to me and saying, what's this dude going on about? God, Jesus, all this stuff. Well, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm what they call a born-again Christian. I believe in God and in a personal relationship with Him through the person of Jesus Christ, who was born of a virgin, lived on this planet, died for the sins of humanity, and was raised from the dead. There's an empty tomb outside of Jerusalem that signifies that He is no longer on this planet and He's no longer in a tomb somewhere. He rose from the dead and He lives to save people eternally and intercede for them. Now, I've said this before many times, and I'll say it again. I want everyone to be saved and to know Jesus as Lord. But if that's not what you believe, then I will love you and respect you as you are. As long as you understand that I have the ability to talk about what I believe. And if you're uncomfortable, or if you prefer that I not say stuff like that, then the onus, of course, is on you. Your time here is welcome, but you don't have to listen to me, and there are plenty of other streamers that are out there as well. But I do appreciate you stopping by and saying hello, and I do hope and pray that you have a great day ahead. Guys, I'm going to hop off the flight deck temporarily just to take care of something for Mrs. DIGI. I'll go back to normal speed, and I'm going to come back. We are about 40 nautical miles away from Icons, and basically at this point, we're going to start getting ready for our descent into Fayetteville. So, sit tight, and I will BRB momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have returned and we are coming up on icons. Not a surprise that we got there in a somewhat zippy amount of time because I did have a teensy bit of time acceleration on, but more or less, let's see, we've been flying now for a little bit less than an hour, and we are less than 20 nautical miles away from icons. So let's see. I think at this point it's safe for me to turn on the approach because we're going to be coming in. We're going to activate vectors to final, I think. No, hold on. Let me select the approach, RNAV 10, vectors, borrow mins, and now we're going to activate it. So, let's see if we borked ourselves up. Okay, we kind of did because we weren't that close, but we're actually leveling off now. Are we? The plane is beginning to turn to the left a bit. Or, excuse me, we're beginning to level off. Interesting. We're going to Zitmo. Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Step 1, slow down. Step 2, we'll get down to I'm going to say 2,100 feet. And then we will begin the descent. And we'll descend at probably about 2,000 feet per minute. And I think this should take care of us. I don't know. But I could just descend at about 2,600 feet per minute. And then we go closer to idle. That may actually work. We're not at 500 knots, but that should make up the difference. 4-hour descent checklist. What do we need to do? Window heating is indeed on. And what else do we have? Pressurization. We're at about a little bit below 6,000 feet in terms of pressure, which is a great differentiator from where we actually are. And icing conditions, I would say, are basically non-existent. And landing speeds. Again, we're going to shoot for somewhere between 130 to 140 knots on the landing. Nothing for reversers or speed brakes on the rollout, so we just roll out and then taxi all the way back if we have to. Now, with regards to taxiing, once we get to the airport, we're going to taxi via Foxtrot, cross runway 22, and literally right turn at Alpha, left turn at Echo. So once we cross runway 22 or 04, we're going to go right turn on Alpha, left turn on Echo, and we will be at the FBO. Okay, sound good? I think so. At least I hope so. And there she goes. And look at that, we're hooking up to Zitmo now. Zitmo, I thought I said was 2,100 feet anyway, so we're on track for that. Let's go full idle and increase the descent rate to about 2,800. And if my seat in my pants math is good, we may be just over or way under the minimum altitude by the time we get to Zitmo, which is the plan. I don't like that we're at 32,000 feet and we're like maybe 60 or 70 nautical miles away from Zitmo, but we'll do it. Thanks again to everybody that joined along with us today for our flight from Huntsville to Fayetteville. I do believe we are on normal time now, and we will remain for the rest of the flight. We did cut out a bit of time to just make sure that I wrapped up on time for family time for me later. And I'd say the trade-off was worth it. We covered some ground pretty quickly, had some nice chat, and I plan on touching down at runway 10 momentarily. We are still descending at 2,800 feet per minute. I'll probably adjust that velocity once we cross transition altitude of 180, 18,000 feet, which at this rate, let's see, 2,800 feet per minute, 5,600, 4 is like 10,000. So another like 8 minutes. In about 8 or 9 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, we will be going through transition altitude. So that means in about 7 minutes, we'll have lost 15,000 feet. In like another 14, we'll be on top of the approach for Fayetteville. Woo. This is zippy. This is quite zippy. And let's see. Okay, I think we are... I think we're good. We don't have any drop frames. I'm happy. Okay. Let me look at the approach again. $2,600 as you come into the RNAV, so we do still have quite a bit of altitude to lose. Now we are about 50, maybe 60 nautical miles away from our destination. Are we though? Yeah. There we go. About, yeah, exactly. So that, yeah. Now I understand how this works. Okay. It feels like we're above path, but I think we're much closer to the right track. Again, I'll adjust my descent rate once we get past transition level. And I think we're okay. Is there any traffic in the vicinity? Let's zoom in. We have some. All the traffic is above. There's somebody crossing my line of sight, and they are climbing, so they're not going to be a factor. All right, let's grab the checklists for transition level. We are altimeters. We're just going to hit the B button, get the latest altimeter, and cross-check that against what we have for the airport. Airports at Fayetteville, weather. The altimeter is going to be 299.2, and winds are 170 at 7. So that's why we picked 22 before, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Okay, and let's just make sure the seatbelt signs are all the way on. That will be good. And fuel transfer pushed out. Approach briefing, we are coming in on the RNAV 10. We're going to be turning right to final literally as we cross the last waypoint. So we'll want to be at about 500 feet or less at that point. We will roll out on 10, potentially taking up all the runway and then going to taxi back via Foxtrot. And then we'll cross runway 22 at Foxtrot, right turn on Alpha, left turn on Echo. But that was the approach and the taxi brief. If we do have to go missed, we have a missed approach waypoint, which is beyond 10. And then I guess we can go back to the first waypoint for the RNAV approach at about 20, I think 2,600 feet and try it again. Otherwise, we have about a 4,200 foot long runway to deal with, and we still have 1,198 pounds of fuel. So I would imagine it's going to take us a little bit to slow down, maybe half the runway to slow down to runway exit speed. And there we go. There's our approach. Briefing. Now, if we do have to go missed, it's going to be 2,600 feet and then direct to Jago. That's it. All right. 299er3 is the pressure here. Let's just set 299er2 for the ground. Really? I can't do barrel? There we go. Wrong toggle. Wrong dial. Sorry. Now, on final approach, am I supposed to turn off the yaw damper? Yes. Yes. We'll probably set flaps 2 for landing. And we are coming up on 10,000 feet very quickly, so landing lights will turn on, and that's it. Okay, we're still like 25 some odd nautical miles. Actually, more than that. We're over 45 nautical miles, so we can probably slow down significantly at this point. Growing airspeed is just under 300 knots, so probably even 1,700 feet per minute or 1,500 at this point. We should be fine. Okay, we are in the greater Fayetteville vicinity at this point. Gotta be. Let's take a peek outside. Okay, flirting with about 250 knots, which we can slow down once I drop the gear. I do not believe we're going to have issues getting to 2,100 feet by Zitmo. I think we should be a-okay. I can probably even start slowing down now. Okay, that means we should most likely make Fayetteville and taxi to the ramp probably by about 4:15, which gives me plenty of time to, chat you guys up before I power down. Again, I appreciate everybody that stopped by, everybody that's been lurking. We are coming into Fayetteville now after departing Huntsville a little over an hour ago. Yeah, I had like about 20 or 30 minutes on the ground before we took off from Huntsville, so we're good. 32 nautical miles before we get to Zipmo. This is good. We are 1,500 feet per minute. I think we can slow down now to 1,300. Is a touch bumpy though. Getting a bit of a boost from the back. Hopefully that will turn into a headwind complement shortly. Or excuse me, a crosswind. Yeah, we are 27-ish nautical miles from the airport. Can we see anything? Where are we? Getting kind of flat. 5,400 feet. And I think today's the first day of summer, isn't it? Yeah, summer solstice, so it's probably fitting that we're going to have some bumpy atmospherics. 25 nautical miles away, so 1,000 feet per minute. Oh yeah, we'll make 2,100 feet at this point. We're good. Okay, this is an RNAV approach, but I don't know how much of an interpolation the system's going to do for me, if any. I'm going to treat this as a visual approach since we're going to be landing 1-0. There is no ILS. Yeah, about 5 of. Doing good, doing good. Now we are inside of 20 nautical miles to the airport, and we are at 3,700 feet. 2,100 feet should be well in hand. I am going to turn the yaw damper off at this point. Now, once we get past Zitmo, we're going to need to slow down drastically. So, pretty much once I get past the initial approach fix, I'm debating dropping anchor and lowering the gear and seeing what happens. All right, less than 1,000 to go. A quite warm, bumpy summer afternoon in North Carolina as we come into Fayetteville. Oof, wow, definitely bumpy. Oh, man. And I want to be doing this in real life? Conversation for a future date, I guess. Never let it be said that there's no realistic turbulence in MSFS. At least not right now. Okay, once I pass Sugar, I'm going to most likely activate the approach and see what happens. I'm not expecting anything extraordinary, but we'll see whether or not it works. What bothers me more is the tailwind complement, but we'll see. Most everybody else is slightly or significantly above me or below me. How? They must be parked. I don't know. Here goes. My word. Must be a hot summer day down there. I'm getting bounced around. Okay, so landing checklist. We're going to make sure the gear is down 3 green, and we'll set flaps 2, and then basically turn off the yaw damper, which we've already done. Now, we are 7.4 nautical miles away from Zitmo, and we're like still 200 plus. So first thing I'm going to do is set flaps to 1 and drop gear. Let's activate approach and see what happens. Okay, well, it looks like it's calculated a glide path for me. Definitely a windy day, that's for sure. Okay, glide path's coming in. Let's see if we can actually make this work. It's at least a 4,000-foot long runway, so we're not going to have the same thing happen to us that happened at Block Island, where we gave him free lawn mowing a little bit. Now let's see if the glide path takes us all the way in. I'm slightly optimistic about the glide path. Let's see if it works. Okay, glide path, and we are hopefully going down. Yes, we are. Great. And I've also set the go around altitude. Give me flaps 2, please. Airport, where are you? Oh, there we go. Right there. See? 1-0 in sight. Alright, do me a favor, zoom in. Yeah. Literally, like a half mile to landing, we will turn. And flaps 3. Okay, 500, windy, but still somewhat stable. My aircraft. Wow. Crazy bumpy approach in. Okay, now we got that crosswind coming in. Just a little bit closer. Come on. Come on. And gently, gently, don't worry. Well, we might still go off the end of the runway, but hopefully not. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We went way, way long. Hey, hey, good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. RCX 1981 is one of my friends from another stream. I hang out with him on the Book of Gaming's Twitch channel. Welcome aboard, Rudy. Good to see you. Okay, we went long and we were almost totally blown off the runway, but we landed. That was super squirrely. You got it, Lyles. Let's get you over to the GA ramp at least. Oh man. Well, thanks again everybody for coming on board. We are just taxiing over to the ramp and then we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Total flight time basically an hour. There we go. About an hour and like 16 minutes. So there you have it. So we'll be following the food truck in. Anybody want snacks? Welcome. This is Fayetteville, another freeware airport available through flightsim.to, Kilo Foxtrot Alpha Yankee, and the airport we flew out of was Huntsville, Kilo Hotel Sierra Victor. Total flight time was a little bit behind. I think I didn't exactly factor in all of the issues. Nobody's coming through, guys. You can cross. There we go. Give or take about 5 minutes. That's not bad. Okay, so the terminal's over to your left. We're going to be turning right. Here we are. And just a quick check of ye olde map. Exactly, left turn on Echo, which is literally coming up over here, I think. Oh, wait, we just missed it. It's okay, we'll take Delta. That's fine. Here is the FBO or FO? FBO. take the long way into the GA ramp. So basically, there you have it. And we can turn off the landing lights, turn off the strobes, and that's it. Let's go ahead and park up somewhere. We'll go by the hangar. How about that? I think the next one is the one that's open. Very nice. There it is. There it is. Let's bring it in, guys. What do you say? Okay. Parking brake is on. And we are in. Okay, let's go ahead and go through the list. Do we have a shutdown checklist? I'm going to go ahead and say we can start by turning the airplane off. Nah, we're good. Okay, now the airplane's off, I'm going to go ahead and slap on the GPU real fast before I finished putting this thing away. So let's go ahead and turn the fuel pumps off since we're on the GPU. Seatbelt signs can come off. We will reset the ELT. ADS and hydraulic pumps can come off. Window heats can come off. We will depressurize. Mode manual. Cutoff is set. GPU is in use. So let's go ahead and pop off the generators. Turn off the ignition. And we are engine start stop switches at stop. Flaps are 0. We are definitely idle. The parking brake is indeed set. And that is it. Okay. So now that it matters, we're totally turned off at this point, and flight directors come off. Flight director is off. Yaw damper was turned off already. Bleeds are off. Cabin's depressurizing. And we have the GPU in use. So I can turn off the batteries. We're not going to be doing anything extensive anymore. Nav lights off. Cabin lighting off. We'll turn the panel lighting off. And let's go ahead and set the chocks, or excuse me, the covers on. Covers and control lock is set. Okay, that's it. Let's turn off the GPU and we're good. GPU can come off. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived. So we are at the signature terminal. This is bananas, or at least one of the signature terminals. This looks lovely. Nice place to be at. Anybody want some, refreshments or some snacks? That's dope. I got to do something like this. Honestly, I do. Wonderful flag right there. And some GA aircraft to greet us. Lovely. What do you say we open the door? Let these wonderful folks out. Okay. There we are. And let me take a nice little screenshot of this. And that'll do it. Sheesh. Good times. Good times. I'll take a code red. Do they have one? Can't tell. I know I see water. I believe it's either a dew or a Sprite. One of these is a dew. One of these is a dew. One of these is a Sprite. I think I see Coke products, and I think I see Dr. Pepper. I could be wrong. There's Mountain Dew. Yep, yep. There we go. There we go. Lots of chips. Oh wow, I see the Coke products even more clearly here. Fanta, Dew, Coke cans. Man, yeah, I need to put something like that in my scenery. Sheesh. Oh, that's dope. Now, we did arrive at Fayetteville Regional. This is the airport. There are no aircraft in the vicinity coming into Fayetteville right now, but this is what you'd be looking at if you came in on like a, 737 or A320 or A220 or Embraer. I don't believe this has an interior, but this airport looks nice. It definitely doesn't look like a bunch of, stock shapes programmatically mashed together. I like this. I don't even care that the cars are static. It just gives us character. It's a nice looking airport. And that's it, really. I'm happy with this. So let me think. Coming up on 4:30, yeah, I'm gonna have family time soon, so I'm happy to be here. Yeah, folks, thanks for accompanying me on today's flight. We flew into Fayetteville from Huntsville. I've flown out of Fayetteville here. I think we flew once from here to Vero Beach in Florida. I could be wrong, but had a good time. Had some nice cruise time to chill. I pray that your week upcoming is wonderful and blessed. I would like to say that I'm going to be doing some quiet scenery dev this week. I'm going to be totally transparent with you. I don't know. I know that I'm going to be busy middle of the week, and I think I'm going to be busy or even busier with IRL work projects. I'm going to do the best that I can. Kev, my pleasure. It is a pleasure to have you here, even as I'm wrapping up. We just flew in from Huntsville and we are just enjoying the scenery a little bit before we head out. I have some family time coming up and I might be doing some dev this week, depending on just how chill things are and what's going on. I'm hoping that's the case because I'd like to continue on the project work that I'm doing and just learning more from myself and from others with regards to what I can do for the buildings I'm working on to try to finish up the refresh for Higginsville and also Lafayette Regional and probably one or two other projects I want to get started. We'll be on the lookout. Yes. So, um, what I can probably do is this: make myself a little contract for this week. If I have any amount of time when things are chill and I'm even remotely thinking about scenery dev, I will do it. I don't care if I do it for 15 minutes on stream. I don't care if I do it for half an hour on stream. I don't care if I do it for an hour on stream because I feel the motivation. I will try my best. It may look a little weird that I'm only going to be on stream for like 15 or 20 minutes, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share time with you guys, and I think I'm going to use the stream kind of like, again, as a reminder to get out there, put the content in, put the work in, and just motivate myself to get back there. Because look, like look at this. This is even a moderately simple aircraft hangar, and just look at the attention to detail. Look at the attention to detail. And this is what somebody else did as a freeware. Like this is good. This is genuinely good. And I don't know how thick this is, but it looks like this is just a one wall thing. And I think however they do it or however they did it, it's fine. Now let me just play around with the timing to see what they do about lighting and how this stuff works. Because I genuinely am trying to figure out how to get better at my craft. But it looks like dark texturing seems to not matter. Now, there is a little bit of light bleeding in from the bottom. I guess there's some stuff you just can't control. But let me do overhead lighting. Yeah, see? Like there is basically a difference in terms of how things light up. Would you call that ray tracing? I don't know. I don't know. But I know no building is immune to, let's just say, adversarial lighting or side effects. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to do the best that I can to enjoy um, creating things and have a good time. That's what I'm shooting for. That's genuinely what I'm shooting for. To have a good time making buildings, doing scenery dev, and sharing my time and my projects and my products with people. So um, be on the lookout for updates from goodness from my Discord. Wow. Um, if somebody is here and enjoying time here and wants to be on my Discord and does not yet have it, I treat Discord memberships kind of like the Disney Vault. I basically say a few times. I usually do things like put the invite like I'm about to in chat, and then basically once that happens, you have your link, you have your way in, and then you can do that. So I'm about to log into my Discord account, pop up the invite link, and then have you guys decide whether or not you want to join. Up to you. Of course, as always, there are some rules that you're going to have to follow once you become a member of the chat in order to get basic privileges. But otherwise, I'm going to put the link right here. Okay, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Let me see who else is on that we can say hello to in passing. I'm going to hear myself echo. And who else is on? Is my friend, is he actually still streaming? That's dope. Let me go. Let me actually go and bug him and say hello. Because I think he's still flying. He's been flying for the past little bit. Let me go ahead and set myself up for the raid. Okay, so stick around. We're gonna go raid my friend Charlie Foxtrot and say hi. He might be a little surprised. He also might be wrapping up, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna say hi to him again real quick. Much love to all of you guys. Thanks so much for stopping in today. And like I always like to say before we wrap up the stream, if you want true peace, you still want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. My friends, have a great night. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And until next time, I will see you. Stick around for the raid. Bye.